I really hope that wasn't me saying I'm gay in some weird kind of way. Or retarded or something. Have fun.
What up, Garveys? It is nice to be back. Third time's the charm. This is the place where I popped my stand-up cherry, and feedback I got from my first time was it was over a little too fast. Well, ladies, I was nervous, but no guy ever wants to hear that when it's their first time. Second time was a little bit better. Third time now, though, and I believe I'm going to have my rhythm a little bit. Now, it's 2020. COVID's been pretty crazy, and we've learned a lot this year. But what I have learned this year is how innocent I really am. And you might be asking yourself, what does he mean? Well, in case you didn't know, there are 3 stages to perversion. There is a prevert, when you don't know anything. There's a pervert, where you've been introduced to a bit of kink. And then you're a provert, when you really have some experience under your belt. Well, experience in that arena is kind of like being crazy. If you think you are, you really aren't. And reason I say this is, at the beginning of the year when we got that wonderful stimulus check, I used that to make myself a gaming computer, and I joined an online game called Final Fantasy 14. They found what's called a free company, or if you're a gamer and no other games, they call it a guild. And this is actually an adult-themed guild. It's a gentleman's club and a casino, and on casino nights we do run casino games, but you can also actually hire yourself a digital escort. And as I'm working and filling out my information for the free company, I also am introduced to something called a kink list. And I'll go ahead and let you know right now, you don't know anything if you actually have to fill out a kink list and do a Google search at the same time. There is some weird stuff out there. Now, what COVID has also taught me is that comedy is very similar to sexual fetishes. And you might think that's a little bit weird, but you ever know someone who had daddy issues? Of course, there's people out there like that. Well, I got dad jokes for days. You might have heard this one, why do seagulls fly over the sea? Why? Well, it's because they flew over the bay. You'd have to call them bagels. Now, I love puns. Always have, always will. And one thing I've tried to do is take an existing joke and try and find a way to make it mine. For example, what's a pirate's favorite letter? Most people are going to tell you R. But I thought I'd be clever and say, no, it's not R, it's the C. Well, I thought I was super witty and super clever until I did a Google search and realized someone thought of that before me. Another way that comedy is similar is timing. Timing is incredibly important. Here in the club right now telling you or asking you why are Frankenberry and Blueberry are afraid of Count Chocula. Well, it's because he's a serial killer. It's fine right here, but it's not fine when it's 2 a.m. and you're in a grocery store and you meet a random woman in the aisle. Then she looks at you thinking like you're freaking crazy. So, aside from the dad jokes, some people are into race play. Good example of some racial humor. So I was at work the other day, and I got a gentleman behind me. He's from the Sudan. Gentleman to my right is a man of color from here in the U.S. And we were talking about how he got COVID. And then there was the question of, did he actually really have it? I mean, he's what, an overweight 75-year-old man or some such, and he's over it in 4 days. Then you've got a super athletic dude like Cam Newton, who gets COVID, and how long is he quarantining? Well, the answer to that isn't really all that important. The important part is when the man at the Sudan says, yeah, but Americans have lied about much, much worse. And the man to my right said, yeah, like when they came with the boats and said, come on, we're gonna take you on a cruise. There's gonna be some food. And what did I do? I laughed. I thought it was funny. But then I also immediately got really still and really terrified because I'm like, wait, am I allowed to laugh at that? So, but yeah, it's been an interesting year. Speaking of trying to find ways to make things my own, you know, doing the dad jokes, that's one thing. And then coming up with inventions. I once thought, well, you know what a pasty is? Well, why don't we make it a little bit more interesting? Make edible pasties, we'll call them tasties. Someone already thought of that before me. And any fans of board games in here? Love board games. You know, one of the great board games of all time is Clue. You start playing it at a young age and you do murder mystery. Well, I thought I'd try to find a way to spice it up, and I was going to make a game called An Affair to Remember. And it's going to be who had an affair with who, in what room, and with what toy. Sounds like a great time. I mean, who wouldn't want to be having a night with friends when you suddenly say, aha! It was Indiana Bones and Pussy Galore in the conservatory with the anal beads. But honestly, the strangest part about that entire thing is actually the word conservatory, because honestly, we know the only conservative thing going down in this day and age are going to be the in-the-closet politicians. But thanks, guys. Y'all have been great.
Hexomancy, everybody! Give it up, give it up! That was his longest set, too. You did 7 minutes. Congratulations, sir. Normally open mics are about 5 minutes. He did 7 minutes. That's 2 extra minutes you went. That's really good, sir. But if you ever go, like when I went to New York a couple of times, I had to only give you 3 minutes at an open mic.
Oh, wow.
Which it works well for me, you know. I'm used to that. So that's pretty cool.
Well, it's called premature ejaculation.
Hey, man, I still got that teenager. You know what I'm saying?